All right, and we're live. We got Graham Doyle here. Dude, thanks for jumping on. I know it's kind of last second, but I'm glad we put it together.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be on here. Happy we were able to make it work with both of our crazy schedules here. It's good.
Dude, you got a lot more crazy schedule than I do. So, I mean, let's go right into it. So, tell me who you are and what you do, and then we'll kind of get into your background and how you got there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, I'm Graham Doyle. I live in Tampa, Florida. I've been racing semi-professionally and professionally since I was about 8 years old in go-karts. And I've been racing professionally for Lamborghini since I was 16 years old, and now I'm in the NASCAR Truck Series as well. So racing there too, but been racing professionally for this is my fifth season doing that, which has been awesome. And yeah, just building up a reputation and everything in the motorsports world.
Let's go. So, how did you get into that? I mean, because like not anybody off the street can just hop in a Super Trofeo car and win. I mean, you won too, right? So, did you start with karting? Like, how do you start as like a 16-year-old or maybe even earlier than that and end up winning?
Yeah. So started in go-karts. We got my first go-karts, kind of the atypical story for drivers. Most of the time I got my first go-kart for Christmas when I was like 5 years old, from
Let's go.
dad, and immediately fell in love with going fast. The adrenaline rush, everything like that just kind of took over my life. So did that forever. And then, yeah, I got into a Super Trofeo when I was 15 years old. Realized that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was like, this is probably the coolest feeling I'll ever have. So let's give everything I've got and see what we can do. And then, yeah, like you said, got into my first season. I was 16 years old and was able to start getting on the podium. I think I qualified pole in my first race in Super Trofeo, and then got my first podium in my second race, won my third race, and ended up finishing second in the championship my first year, but won 5 races. Was the youngest person to ever win a race for Lamborghini, and then was given a contract with them to become a young driver in the program with them. Got into the GT3 car then, which brought me into IMSA WeatherTech, which was amazing. And yeah, that's kind of where I lead now. This is my fourth year full time working for Lambo, which is amazing. It's been a lot of fun. Super Trofeo is probably the most fun racing in the world, and then just doing other stuff on the side as well, just to keep driving.
I mean, so you were driving a not just any Lamborghini, but like a track car. So I mean, they weigh what, 2,800 pounds, like 500, 600 horsepower ish, somewhere in that window. And you
Yeah.
you
So
don't
this.
even have like a legal driver's license yet. Like, how is that intimidating? Or were you just like, no, like I'm here to rip it, like, and you're just like, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, you kinda have to go into it with that mindset of, like, "Let's go." Like, the moment you go into it and you're kinda, like, nervous or anything like that is the moment you're slow, and I've always said to myself, the first moment I start feeling nervous or scared in a race car is when I'm gonna have to, really consider what I'm doing, 'cause that you can't do that. The moment you have any fear is the moment you start making mistakes. So,
Yeah.
yeah, when I got the opportunity to get into the car the first time, it was more of that like, "All right, let's show these people what I got, and hopefully I can make something work and get into a race," because it was more of a test than anything. When I was 15, they were seeing what I could do, so it was like you had to prove yourself, you know? You didn't really have the I didn't have the luxury of like, "All right, let's take it slow for a while and slowly build up to it." Like, I just had to go out there and show them what I had. So, it was interesting for sure. I have my learner's permit and I'm out there racing cars, but,
Yeah.
it was something else. But yeah, I was very fortunate with how the test went and the ability then to, continue to build off that.
What's the most intimidating thing about a Super Trofeo car?
I would say just basically the amount of power that car has and the lack of downforce is something like that becomes intimidating because the amount of speed you take into corners, but the lack of grip middle of the corner to exit is quite intimidating. Like you carry so much speed on the straights in these cars. I mean, the Trofeo is like I think it's right at that 700 horsepower mark, maybe 650 horsepower mark. So it's fast, and that car's super light. It's like 2,000 kg. Um, so it's pretty light for how much power it has. And then the braking ability on it's quite good, but middle corner it has like the downforce is lacking. So the car gets pretty sketchy, I would say, middle of the corners. So that's probably the most intimidating fact of these cars is you just have to be so committed into the corner and then kind of like get the car stopped, rotate, point, shoot. Like these cars are very much like you're not worrying about center speed. You're worrying about like very straight lines.
Are they? Sorry, I was taking a sip of Alani. We're not sponsored by them. Alani, if you're listening, sponsor us. But um, is so. Are these cars like the 911 Cup cars where there's no traction control, no ABS, like almost no driver aids, or like what do they feature?
No, so they do. They have ABS and traction
Okay.
control. The 911 Cup cars actually have that too now. They don't run it
Oh,
over in,
nice.
which is strange. Which I actually didn't realize until more recently. The 911 Cup cars don't run TC and ABS in Europe, but in the
Okay.
states they run ABS and TC. I think,
Okay,
to be
gotcha.
completely honest with you, I think it has something to do with the tracks over here. The overall grip level of the asphalt they use in the United States is quite low. Um,
Okay.
and the tracks are more so, I would say here, open to pile ups at starts. Like if you see they're very tight, like on starts here in the United States. I don't know why, but it's just like a very common thread here. So you kind of need, especially for a single make championship like that, where it's, yeah, you have pro drivers, sure, but there's a lot of like customer racing going on. You kind of need that safety net of ABS. Traction control, not so much. Like I'm not a huge component of traction control, but ABS makes sense just because then you make a mistake, you go a little too deep into a corner. It's not going to be the end of 10 people's days. You're not going to be a bowling ball going into a bunch of pins. I mean, you're going to lock up and yeah, maybe you'll bump somebody, but at least you have that safety net of you're not going to like flat spot and slide your tires and just take out everybody. So it's the Trofeo has both of them.
Yeah.
That's a it's a pretty good driver aid, to be honest with you. Like throughout the race or throughout even qualifying, I'm making changes lap by lap. With TC and ABS, more so TC, to be completely honest with you. The ABS I don't really touch much once I start something, but it's something. I mean, it's a lot less than like a GT3 car. Like once you get to in the GT3 Lambo, you have lateral TC, longitudinal TC, engine braking, all these other options that just help over a longer race format. But yeah, in the Trofeo, it's pretty bare bones, just having TC and ABS.
I mean, that's so wild. Did you have a moment where, like, do you have this like memory of a clear moment where it just clicked for you and like you're like, okay, I'm really comfortable, like I'm here to win this?
Yeah, that actually came, I'd say 2023. I had a visualization moment. So that was my first full season racing. I had finished second in the US championship. I lost by like 2 points, which sucked, but it was my first year, so I was still pretty happy about that. You really can't complain, right?
Yeah.
We were over in Italy racing. I had won both US races by a huge margin. And then they do this thing called World Finals for Super Trofeo, where it's a 2 race weekend sort of deal, and it's like winner take all. Like if you win that, you're a world champion. You get all these options. And they do stuff for the top 3 contenders in it. Like if you finish on the podium there, they get you into a thing called the shootout, and then from there you can get into the young driver program, all this stuff. And the first race I went into, and that was like stress levels were at an all-time high. I had won both races leading up to it at that track, so I felt good, but it was still like, all right, now I'm racing against everybody, Europeans, people in Europe, people in Asia, all these people. And I really struggled in the first race, but the second race, I think I started like fifth or something, and just started picking people off throughout the race. Passed for the lead on the last lap, and that was kind of the moment it all clicked in my head. Like, all right, I can do this. Like that
That's
was
awesome.
the moment. Like the day before, I didn't do well. I think I finished like eighth or something, and it was like going into that race. Yeah, your head's not as held as high because it's you had a tough race the day before, but it was kind of one of those things. Like, all right, we got to do this. Like this isn't. I can't let this like hold me back now. Like I need to go all out, and I was able to win the race on the last lap, youngest to do it in America for like in Italy for America. Like that was the moment I got out of the car and I was like, all right, I can do this. Like I can do this professionally. This is what I want to do.
I love that. Is it harder to defend against a car that's like trying to attack you and like pass you, or is it harder to pass a slower car?
Um, Probably harder to defend, to be completely honest with you. It's always easier to be on the offense than the defense, I would say. Just because when you're on the offense, you're kind of forcing the mistake on who you're trying to pass. I mean, yes, you can make mistakes yourself, but it's a lot easier to force a mistake than make a mistake for somebody like me, at least. So it is. I do prefer to be in the if it has to be like a wheel to wheel race. I'd rather be in on the defense or on the offensive, just because then you're the one controlling your own fate at the end of the day. Like if you know you're fast enough to get up on somebody and you're racing them and you're behind them, you're controlling your own fate at that point. The last lap, if you want to make a risky pass, you have the option to do it. Like they can't do anything to you, to be honest. I mean, they can block you and stuff like that, of course, but like you have the ability to do whatever you want. I mean, I know there's penalties involved and like you don't want to take somebody out, but like if you're on somebody on the last lap and it's gloves off, like it's up to you. Being on the defensive is cool as well because I mean you're leading the race, sure, and you're kind of controlling the pace. But unfortunately, like I said, you open yourself up to a last lap or last ditch effort by somebody. Like they're going to break super deep into a corner that they know they're not going to make unless they door you. But that's just what racing's like. So it's fun on both ends of the spectrum. Like I've been fortunate enough this year; it's been a very good year for us where we've been leading most races for the majority of them or all of them. So I've been, I guess, more on the defensive than the offensive. I am passing, like lapping people in Super Trofeo, like so some of
Oh
the
wow.
customer cars, which is fun. And it kind of comes back to my WeatherTech stuff. Like we're usually the ones getting lapped by the GTP cars as the GTD. So I mean, lapping is it's something that I've become very comfortable with, just because I have to deal with it on such big scales. Like in Daytona at the 24, I mean, you do a 3 hour stint, you're probably getting getting lapped by traffic every 5 to 6 laps. So it becomes like it's fun to be honest with you. Like you're judging everybody around you and figuring it out. But I've been fortunate enough to be on the offense or the defense this year, which is I'm not going to complain about. We've won 6 out of 6 races, so it's been pretty nice to be on the defensive. But yeah, on the offensive is also fun because then it's you're controlling your fate. You're making what happens, and at the end of the day, then when you win the race, it feels even better because you're like, man, I made that happen. That's cool.
What about like the ethics or like etiquette of other drivers? Because I know like so when I was watching the F1 movie, which I know is kind of very like
Yeah.
Hollywood and a lot of, but like they have that one character who's driving a Lamborghini and he's like kind of a dick. It's like is that like are there other drivers that like kind of try like some underhanded tricks or is everybody kind of pretty above board and professional?
Um, yeah, I mean, you have different personalities everywhere you go in life. So yeah, there's for sure people who out there and you come to not only know them outside of the track, but you know them on track and you kind of know their antics and how they're going to act with you, which is unfortunate in some scenarios. Like some people just kind of get like they just see red and then it's like they're just zoned in and they seem to become like a bull in a china shop. And then you have other people who are racing super clean and those are the best kind of people. Like I mean, I've been doing this long enough where now, like, in the racing I do, you don't really know who's in the car because it's driver changes and everything. But I've come to know a lot of people's helmets, which is kind of funny. Like you see them through their windshield, I know who's in the car. And it's nice when you know whoever's racing you, you know how they race. Yeah, you're gonna have people who, like you said in the movie, are just like super aggressive and like out of this world. Like, come on, like it doesn't make sense. And those are usually the people who, like the old adage says, like you can't win a race on the first lap, but you can lose it there.
Yeah.
Those are usually the type of people who lose it there because in for a long race format, they're the one who's going to go for this like 10% probability pass on the first lap and destroy their car. And then it's like, okay, cool, dude. We had 24 hours to make this pass and you just tried to do it in the first 5 minutes. So those usually people honestly usually take care of themselves. It's usually the clean racers that at the end of the day they come at the end and yeah, of course you're going to get aggressive. Like I've been fortunate enough to race some of the best drivers in the world, and at the end of a race, like it's gloves off. Like everybody has to do what they have to do because this is your job. Like your job is to win. So you never hold it against anybody. But yeah, there's a certain few out there that you when you see them out there, it just kind of makes you get a little nervous around you because you're like, I don't know what you're thinking right now. Like I don't know what you're gonna do. You're not gonna race me clean. I know that.
Are you gonna name drop him and call him out? No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to.
No, 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 no. I won't. I
No,
won't. I
I'm not.
won't.
I'm not here to get you in trouble.
Yeah, no, I won't do him that disservice. That's for sure. But no, it's very few. Trust me, it's very few, and especially in GT racing, it's. I mean, the issue with these cars are so aerodynamically affected that it's like you break any small minute detail on this car or you bend anything out of place, it's going to affect you like big time. It's not like you can get away with just destroying your car. Like you break off one dive plane or you crack one thing on your car, you pop your wheel out of alignment by 3 mil, you're going to lose 2 to 3 tenths a lap. Like just that's how it is. And 2 to 3 tenths a lap is a lot in our world. I mean, that's huge.
I'm starting to learn a little bit about how much a racing setup like matters, wheels, tires, alignment, all that stuff, just by messing with it in iRacing a little
Yeah.
bit in the sim. And I haven't spent nearly enough time like configuring all that and really diving into the deep end of setups, but it made me realize like how much time and effort and money really goes into dialing a car just the way you want it. And can you really feel like if you're going around a turn or whatever, and I don't know, maybe you like make a little bit of contact or something, something gets knocked out of alignment one way or the other. Like, can you really feel that in the car
Oh,
like
immediately,
immediately afterward? Yeah, that's
immediately.
crazy.
That's
How
the
long
that's
did it
the
take you? Go ahead.
No, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna like, how long did it? Like, how much seat time would you say it took you to really kind of like feel the car as an extension of yourself?
Yeah, so there's kind of two parts to that question. So the first one would be something like I've been in go-karts since I was 8. I've been in around and stuff, and especially in karting and racing like that, you have such limited practice that you're required. You have to be able to feel the car and make changes, or you're just going to be nowhere, which is unfortunate. I mean, other stuff comes into it as well, like stupid stuff in that, especially like engines and stuff when it comes to go karting. But it comes with that. Yeah, seat time for sure, years of experience in a lot of different things, just feeling out a car, becoming, like you said, an extension of yourself. But also, some people are gifted with the ability to just immediately get into a car and feel everything that's going on. And then some people aren't. And then you also have people who are super fast, unbelievable drivers, but they don't have that setup feeling, which is strange. I would say I'm more so on the side of the spectrum of I can feel everything going on in a car. I've always like pretended or jokingly said to people, I'm like, oh yeah, I might not have the sharpest mind out there, but I've got a really good ass. I can feel everything in a race car, which is cool. But it becomes like a battle of like, yeah, you can be really good at setting up a car, but maybe you can't maximize it, which is funny. And then you'll have these guys that go out there and they're just like I've been around enough drivers where you can see talent, you know how unbelievable somebody is, but then they come in, you ask them what you would change in the car, and they don't know. They just are like, oh, I feel this, like I just do it, and then they just somehow pull these laps out where it's crazy. But I mean, it is very setup focused what we do. That's why like iRacing, like you're talking about, is a huge component of what I do. Like as crazy as it may sound, I'll sit on iRacing and just play with setups on my car and everything and go out and test it where it's free and there's nothing because racing gets pretty expensive. And then you go to the real track. And honestly, I would say about 60 to 70% of what I find on iRacing, I just try to translate over. And most of the time it works, which is crazy. Because you would think it's a video game at the end of the day, but it's really not. It's a training aid. And we can find so much from that, but then also the importance of testing and everything. Like, I'm glad I was able to get on with you today. I was in Wisconsin 3 days this past week. I'll be back 3 days this week testing both of our cars. And I mean, those days are like, you can't put a price on that. Because then when I show up to race in whatever it is, 2.5 weeks in Road America, I already know where the car is. We're going to roll off the trailer in good shape to where you're not making huge setup changes. You're making minute little detail changes that you can go back on and you're still gonna have a good race car. Like you're not like throwing smoke and hoping something that figures out. Like you already have a basic idea.
I have a question about sim racing. I just realized though I forgot to plug in my laptop battery, so it's like low power mode. I'm gonna plug this in really, really quick, and then I
Yeah.
want to talk real quick about sim racing. It'll be like
Yep.
30 seconds. All right, sorry about that. Okay. So with sim racing, so like how much time would you say you spend on the sim in between races?
A lot. And it really depends on if I've been to the track or not, to be completely honest with you. I've been to Road America a fair bit, which is where my next race is. So like, yes, I'll spend a lot of time on the sim, but not as much. But like when I'm going somewhere new, so like my truck race I just had last weekend was in Lime Rock. I'd never been to Lime Rock before and I never raced the truck. I probably did 500 to 600 laps on my sim
Wow.
pre-event just to get eyes on the place. So when you show up, you're 95% there. I know where the corners are. I know where my apexing is. I know where everything. I have an idea where everything is. So then you're not wasting in trucks, especially. You get a 45-minute practice session and that's it. So you're not wasting that figuring out what's going on with the track, and you can kind of try to hone in on what you're feeling. But yeah, it's probably 10 to 15 hours per race on the sim minimum, and then it really depends on what the event is and what the event looks like. Daytona probably gets the most, I would say, sim time, just because it's the off season rolls into the 24. So when I get finished in the season, which is either end of October, early November, then I'm off until January with Daytona. So I'm not going to stop sim racing. Like I have fun sim racing, so I want to do it. So probably spend the most time with Daytona because I have so much time to spend with it. And then like I'm gonna try. I've already been doing it, but like I'm racing in Monza this year, in October,
Ooh.
which is like a dream track for me, for
Oh,
sure.
I
Growing
love
up,
that track on the sim.
it's unbelievable, dude. And growing up watching Formula One and stuff, and like being a Ferrari fan growing up and everything like that, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. But
Are you doing that with IMSA?
it's with Super Trofeo, so that's where
Oh,
World Finals
nice.
are this year, which is pretty sick.
Okay,
I'm
dope.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So I'll get 4 races over there, which is amazing. I get to spend about a week over in Italy, which is unbelievable. But yeah, doing that. So I've already started on that, but that's gonna get a lot of time on the sim just because I've never been there before, and I wanna perform there, of course. Well, I wanna perform everywhere, but that place especially would be fun. So that one will get extra time on the sim. Probably start prep for that. That race is end of October, so I'll probably start that mid September, and with the goal of probably 600 laps to 800 laps.
Good grief, that's insane. So like what would you when you're on the sim, what would you say is the most useful thing about the sim?
You know, it kind of transitions with once you've started. So I would say the first, let's say I'm doing 500 laps at Monza. Let's say the first 50 laps are spent just figuring out brake markers, where I want to be in a corner, car placement, everything like that. Which may seem like a lot, but I'm trying different stuff that whole time. I have a basic idea after about 10 laps, maybe even quicker, but just trying different stuff to get dialed into where I want the car to be placed. And then the rest of the time, I'm probably playing with setup, doing long runs, short runs, quality sims, stuff like that, and playing with the car, fuel load, everything like that, just to play with setup, see what I can get out of the car, see what lap time I can get, and then you can overlay it with data. If you can get real life data, I can overlay my sim data with that and see where like as you know, the sim's a little bit different than real life everywhere you go, and it really depends when they scan the track. If they scan the track a long time ago, it can be different. So you overlay it, and then I try to make the car as close as possible, coming down to even like I look at I'll try to get Monza data from Super Trofeo, but if I can, I'll look at like shift points and see like when somebody's going from fourth to fifth and then fifth to sixth. And then I'll change because you can change your gear ratios in iRacing. I'll change it so my gear shifts are at this correct point or like within a few mil of the correct point. So then when I get there in real life, I know exactly where I don't even need to be looking at the dash. I have like visual representation of where I need to be shifting into gears.
Where would you say the sim falls short?
Um, like I just said, where when they haven't scanned tracks in a while, that's I would say where it falls short. You'll like certain like even Road America, they haven't rescanned it, I think, in a long time. Laguna was the same way actually. They just redid it, which is quite nice now. But it's just like they are missing apex curbing that they've added. A lot of tracks are adding more and more like runoff, like paved runoff instead of just grass, for safety. But that's nice for a driver because then you can exit corners with like a lot more speed because you can use more apex or you can use more exit curving and still be within track limits. So I would say that's the biggest thing where it falls short. Like I was just in Road America. I come home, I get on my sim, and it's missing like I don't know a second a lap basically because I can't use exits properly like I would in real life because there's not enough exit curbing like there is in real life. They haven't added it yet. And then just like certain places like certain corners are worse than others. I just like Sebring turn 7 in the sim is lacking. It just doesn't feel right. The grip's not right. The bumps aren't right. But I mean, these are little details that I notice. The brake markers are usually, I'd say 90% of the time they're correct, which is really cool because then I get there in real life and I know exactly where like the one board is. It translates perfectly. But yeah, just they fall short when as time goes on. But I mean, that's to be expected with anything, right? Like iRacing can't keep up with the demands of they have whatever 100 tracks on there. They can't be rescanning these tracks every year to change because one track has a new crack in the corner or something like that. Like it doesn't work like that. So that's more on the driver. Then yeah, you're going to get the basic idea. You're going to get 90% there on the sim. When you get there, you still have to be ready for changes. Like it's not going to be exact all the time.
And I'm sure it's not cheap for them to go out there and laser scan
No,
it
it's
and
not.
yeah, exactly. So that's a lot of expense on their end.
Yeah, totally.
Real quick for like technical driving, what is apexing? And then my follow-up question is what is trail braking?
Apex. So the apex of a corner is like it really depends. So it changes corner by corner. It can be like the middle of the corner. It's the point where you want the car to be closest into the corner, and then as you start to flow off. So if you think about like a rounded corner, think about the exact center of that corner for some points. That's exactly where you want to hit the car. Like you want to come in on the curb, be as tight as you can right at that apex, which is like let's say centered, like right in the middle of the paint, and then you start to flow off towards the end. That could be the apex, but then you'll have times where it's like, oh, wow, this corner's an early apex, which means I'm going to say I break it into thirds. I'm going to be my tightest point is going to be the first third of that corner. And then I'm going to start to flow off in the second third and then the third bit of it. Or it's a late apex where you're going to be tightest right at the end of the curb because maybe it's like a very tight track coming around. So it's really the point in the corner where you want to be tightest to everything, like tightest to that side of the track.
And to like keep your like flow and maximize, I guess,
Yeah,
your
exactly.
time and all that.
Maximize
Yeah.
entry and maximizing entry and exit.
Yeah.
So
What about
if you're
trail
come
break? Or no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, so if you're coming from a weird complex of corners, say you're coming off, there's not really any straights, you came off a complex and you have your last one, that may be an early apex because you want to get as tight as possible at first to then open up your exit. So say it's a tight complex and then that last corner is going to take you onto a long straight. You're going to want to apex early, most likely, because then you can open up the corner and flow off with the most amount of speed as possible. You can kind of give up speed on the entry to gain on the exit, which is where you're going to gain more time. Versus if you're going into a corner and it's the first of that complex, you're probably going to do a later apex because you're going to want to carry as much into it. And then you can slow down the entry because you're going to be very technical through there. And then, like I said, you'll work on exits then.
Yeah. What about trail breaking? So what is trail breaking?
Yeah, trail braking is just carrying brakes into a corner. Some cars hate it, some cars love it. The Trofeo does not like it. The GT3 does. So that's basically like you have your initial brake hit. That takes you to whatever capacity you want to do. Let's say it's 100 or 500 bar of pressure into the pedal, and then you're going to slowly come out of the brakes. But trail braking is instead of fully when you're going into the corner, coming out of the brakes and in a coast phase, or you're getting back to throttle. Trail braking is you're going to hold that little bit of brake through the center to just keep the platform stabilized. Because when you're off pedals, yes, it works in most cases, but sometimes when you're off both pedals, the car kind of gets upset, the balance, because as you can imagine, when you brake, it brings the nose down. When you get off the pedals, it kind of restabilizes the platform, which then can kind of give too much to the rear and upset the platform. If you stay on trail, even if it's like a 2% brake, the car will stay down a little bit and it'll keep it a little bit more loaded in the center. So then most of the time when you're trail braking, you trail brake, and then you start to blend minimally, blend throttle and brake and go back to throttle as you're getting out of the brake. So there's no real coast phase.
That's so technical. I've like tried to like I can kind of apex some turns on the sim. Like I mean if it's a track like VIR is one of my
Yeah.
favorite tracks. So like
Oh
I've been
yeah.
able to like kind of learn that and like figure out some of the apexes and stuff like that. And then like trail braking, I still like kind of been trying to figure out like when to use. I mean it's like you said, it all kind of depends on the car. Some cars like it and some don't. And it's like just trying to figure out like one what that is and two what it feels like on the sim, and then I'm sure in real life it's like a totally different feeling because you're actually having the physics of it all, but it's all these like little technical things like that that really do make the world of a difference and shave seconds or tenths of a second off of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is funny once it gets down to that those minute little it's like I've always said to people and people have always said to me, it's very easy when you start and say you start and you're 5 seconds off pace. It's very easy to find those first 4 seconds or maybe three and a
Yeah.
half seconds, whatever it may be. It's very easy to find those because most of the time that's just in going deeper on the brake. Simple stuff that's like I can show you on video. Like, okay, you're braking 50 meters too early into this corner. Like, come on, we just need to go a little bit deeper here and you'll gain a couple tenths there. Like, that's easy. Those last tenths are the hardest ones to gain because that is more those aren't things you can see them on data, sure, but it's not something you can really teach. It's like you were just saying with trail braking, like yeah, you can do it on the sim, but you need it in real life. That's not something that the sim can emulate. Like, sure, it can try, but it's never going to get just right. So that's one of those things where it's like you just have to do lap after lap after lap of just trying stuff and getting to that last like razor edge of what the car can do is where you're going to find those final few tenths. So it really does make or break the difference between good drivers and great drivers at the end of the day.
How much time would you say you spend like watching film? Like, like athletes,
Yeah,
they all watch film and try to
yeah,
say,
for
oh, I
sure.
could have run this route better. I could have cut in this way. Oh, I would have been open there if I'd done that. How much time would you say you spend watching film?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot, yeah. I mean, you're
A
always trying to
lot.
get yeah, a lot. You're always trying to get better, right? So it's like after an event's over, I'll always go to the team and get all the data. So I'll get the like the squiggle data, what I like to say, like the actual like like you can see like brake trace, gears, everything like that. I'll download all that stuff and then I'll also download all the video because we have in-car cameras and all of our stuff that shows telemetry. So then after a race event, most of the time, like coming up to Road America, I'll for sure rewatch both my races from last year I had there, watch all the in-car from it, and just see what I was doing, how the car was evolving over a stint, and I'll overlay that with the squiggle hard data, so I can see like from lap 1 or whatever, maybe lap 3 when I did my fastest lap of the race to lap 30. What was the differences here? What was I moving? What was the difference maker? How much time was lost? Let's look at the like I can grab, I'm fortunate enough to be on a team that has multiple cars, and sometimes those drivers are faster than me. So you can grab their data and you can overlay that with yours. Okay, what was he doing differently to gain at the end of the race? Sure, we were equal at the start, but at the end of the race, he was 3 tenths a lap faster than me. What was he doing to preserve his tires better over a stint, or what was he doing at the end that allowed him to do that? So
And you
yeah,
can
it's
learn that by watching film?
oh yeah, absolutely. You can see where
Wow.
their hands are. You can see where their like I can see their brakes, and then also I can look at the data and be like, okay, yeah, maybe he was braking a little bit earlier than me, but he was using less brake pressure, which was doing less or beating up his tires less. So at the end of the stint, he had a better set underneath him, which allowed him to push a little bit more. So yeah, you can see all that on data for sure. It's those are like that's like the backside of racing that people don't really understand. Most people see racing as like, oh, cool, they're going around in circles on a track, or they're going around a track every day and they're having fun. And it's yeah, it's the best thing in the world. Motorsport, nothing beats motorsports in my opinion. But the back side of it is like, yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into it that's more digital and technical than anybody would ever imagine.
Right. I mean, it's like, yeah, you like you said, you get to drive a car around a track and have an awesome time, but it's still a job. Like you still have to spend hours when you're not racing, studying, seat time on the sim. Like you're still trying to just get better, and that's not like obviously off camera. That's not something that a lot of people realize.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so moving into NASCAR trucks real quick. So how did you get into that?
Yeah, so that all came about pretty relatively recently. I mean, I've always been fascinated with NASCAR. That was like the first events I ever went to were NASCAR races, and I've as an American, I feel like that's kind of our motorsport. Yeah, we have IndyCar, sure, and we have IMSA, but NASCAR's kind of that's the crown jewel in America. So I've always been very interested in it. I'm very fortunate. My manager was an ex NASCAR driver, so through him, and he's always wanted me to do it, which has been great. I was very happy in GT racing, but then I started to kind of get the itch, like, hey, let's see what this could offer. So it all kind of came about in February of this year. I was in St. Pete. They had the first truck race ever in St. Pete, which is 20 minutes from where I live. I always went for the IndyCar race, but they had the trucks there this year. My manager was down for it. He was here more as a spectator, just seeing how that was going to go. So I went down there, met up with him, and then was introduced to a lot of great people over at Toyota, which was amazing. Met a lot of the great people at Tricon, which is the team I would end up racing for, which I did end up racing for, and was able to just kind of talk with them about what I thought, what I could see with the trucks, what I would like to do. It's interesting that they go to road courses now, which is kind of my expertise. So I was able to kind of give them ideas with that. Fortunate enough to then be brought up to Charlotte, get put on Toyota's factory sim, which is unbelievable, and talk with them more about my goals in the next 5 to 10 years. And then, yeah, I was very lucky. They had an opening. They had a race open this year at Lime Rock, which is a road course, which is awesome. So they were able to get me in the truck for a race this year, and then work it towards that, and now work towards what next year is going to look like, which is amazing.
Yeah, earlier you said NASCAR and then road course and then Lime Park, like even before you just now said it, and I was like, or Lime Rock Park, and I was like, wait, NASCAR and road courses? So it's
Yeah.
like I guess what's the difference between NASCAR and the trucks? I mean, obviously, I guess they're doing road courses now, but I mean, what are the differences?
Between NASCAR, like Cup and the trucks, you mean?
Yeah.
So Cup, I mean, Cup does road courses now as well. NASCAR is evolving
Okay,
into everything. They want to go. They're trying to expand it into a lot of different markets, and they're also trying to expand it because why not go to road courses, right? They're everywhere. And it's
sure.
also a lot easier, which you're starting to see more with NASCAR, which I think is even cooler, is now they're going to even street circuits. Like you go to a road course like what I do, and then you go to an actual like street course that's built on roads that are just like they put up barriers and stuff like NASCAR. They did it in San Diego this year. The trucks did it in St. Pete. They've done it in Chicago previously, where it's a true street that they turn into a track because you can build them anywhere. And then you can get into these different demographics in different places that you would have never been able to get before. NASCAR, the closest they could get to Tampa or anything in the past would be like Daytona or Miami. Like those are the only ovals we have. And then if you wanted to go to a road course, I guess you could go to Sebring, but that's still kind of in the middle of the state, nowhere, 2 hours from Tampa. So the demographic, being able to just go to St. Pete on the road course is unbelievable. You're hopping into one of the bigger markets in Florida. Tampa's able to get there. It's 20 minutes from Tampa. It's 20 minutes from Clearwater. It's a cool area. It's a nice track. So all of this, the whole NASCAR is trying to evolve into everything. They're trying to move away from this like only oval idea and get into these guys are true racers. They can race everywhere. We're going to take these cars all over the place and show them what they have.
So like a NASCAR Cup car, like oval car, is completely different setup from a truck.
Yeah, I mean the cars are completely different, of course.
Yeah.
There's a lot of differences. Not in a bad way or like saying this, but the truck is not outdated. Outdated is the wrong word, but it's a generation I would say behind the true Cup car. So is the O'Reilly's car, but still an H pattern gearbox, still a 5 lug tire, and just like lacking a little bit. You go to the Cup car, it's a sequential, it's a single lug, like more like a GT car. It's built like a GT car now. I mean, it's all carbon fiber on those things, which is a little scary because you see how those crashes happen. I know how much it costs on a GT car when you have a little shunt, and those things are like fully destroyed after a race. So it's like, oof, that ain't cheap when that happens. But yeah, it's totally different. It's also a totally different car. Like you look at a NASCAR that's set up for an oval, like the car and then or the chassis, and then you look at a street course chassis. Like from a 1,000 foot view, they look the same. Okay, it's a truck or it's a car, but you look at the bare bones of it, and they couldn't be closer to each other. Like they are so far apart in these cars of how they build them for an oval versus a road course. It's unbelievable.
How does the truck car compare to a Super Trofeo? And have you done, and I guess the second question of that is, have you raced around a track in a Super Trofeo and then done it again in a NASCAR truck car? Like, how do they compare?
Yeah, so I was very fortunate being a true NASCAR rookie. I was able to get a 1 day test before I went and raced. So we did the test at Sebring. I've had a lot of success at Sebring racing the Super Trofeo there as well as the GT3. So I have a lot of experience there. That's also like my home track, which is cool. Um, it's pretty much night and day. The truck, like we were talking about earlier with the ABS and TC and everything, the truck doesn't have any of that. It has no driver aids, so no traction control, no ABS. It's not paddle shifters. It's an H pattern. It's a foot clutch. It's heavy. I think it's 3,800 kg.
Oh,
Or
wow. Okay.
3,800 pounds. It's a big thing. Ton of power. And just like totally different. So you really can't even put them in the same question. It's a completely different driving style, completely different racing style, which I learned quite early in the Lime Rock race that these guys do not race like GT drivers. For better or for worse. But yeah, it's there aren't many similarities to be completely honest with you. I would say the only similarity is with the Trofeo is middle of the corner. The truck doesn't like mid corner. It doesn't have much lateral grip, and neither does the Trofeo. So that's more of a point and shoot car as well. Like you want to get very squared off lines. You're not trying to roll a lot of speed through the center of a corner. So that was probably the closest similarity between those two. But other than that, it's two completely different machines.
So you said you're doing IMSA too. So are you actively in three different, I guess, series right now?
Yeah, I am actively in Super Trofeo, WeatherTech, in the endurance rounds, and then I did my truck race.
So in with the IMSA WeatherTech stuff, are you in a GT3 car?
That's a GT3 car. Yep, and that's with Lamborghini as well this year.
Okay, gotcha. So is it the what is the G? Is it an Evo 2? Does that sound
Yeah,
right?
Huracan Evo too.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's such a great car on the sim. I really
Oh
like the
yeah.
McLaren. I like the McLaren a lot too, and they
Oh,
added
the
that to
McLaren's a
iRacing like
beast.
a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Um,
the McLaren's for sure a beast. The Lambo's cool. Unfortunately for both the Trofeo and the GT3, this is their last year they're ever going to run that car because the Huracan's being replaced, which is
right. Yeah.
which is pretty sad actually. I mean, that's the car I started racing in, so that's one of those things that I don't like to think about much because I think about it and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I love that car. I've been driving it forever. Like that's gonna suck next year. Not having the V10 behind me. I love the sound. I love the feeling. Like everything about it.
Dude, V10 is my favorite sounding
Oh
engine.
yeah,
I don't like it's the perfect sound of like raw kind of like muscle that you get from a V8, but
yeah,
then like kind of
totally.
the higher pitch of like not quite as high as a V12 obviously, but like
Yeah, but you get
still
the
kind of
scream
like
at the
low.
top of the rev range, which is cool.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I love that. So, are
Yeah, and
you
it's
pretty soon? No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, you the thing's a monster. I mean, like you said, you have the rumble, like the V8, you have the high RPM, not as loud as a V12, but you have like that like angry, loud top of the RPM range, which is like unbelievable. It's spitting flames. It looks cool. I mean, those cars are unbelievable. They really are. I mean, those are like it makes me feel like a little kid again. Like every time I see that car, I'm like, oh man, I feel like I'm like 5 years old, and I just saw a Lamborghini pass on the street, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, oh man, that's like my dream car. I have a photo of that thing in my bedroom.
Yeah, and now you're driving them.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, are they really gonna take the Temerario or however you say it? I think I said that right.
Yeah,
Are
that's
they
right.
gonna turn that? Are they gonna turn that into a GT3 car?
Yeah, so they already have actually, and it's already racing. The
Oh wow,
Temerario
okay.
GTD is racing currently in WeatherTech, which is kind of funny. So my team's still running the Huracan. They're going to run the Huracan out through the year because it's this is its last year. It's allowed to run, but the Temerario is already running. A team called FAF is running it in GTD Pro. So the car is already out there running. It's running in Europe as well. And then the Super Trofeo Temerario will be racing next year.
When do you think you're gonna sit down in one and get some seat time, or have you already?
I have not. I've been around the development of both sides of that, and I've been around the Super Trofeo more so, which is great. Hopefully, get into the Super Trofeo in the next few months. They're still on the development side of that thing. It will be racing next year for sure, but still developing that thing. The GT3, I'm not fully sure on yet. I don't know what our GT3 program is going to look like next year with our team. I'm happy anywhere. I don't know if it's going to be with Lamborghini or a different OEM, but that's something that we'll discuss and I'll know hopefully in the next few months. But I'm just happy to be racing anything. To be completely honest with you,
I'm really curious to hear your experience as to how the twin turbo V8 compares to the V10, because I'm sure it's gonna be totally different. It's probably gonna feel totally different too.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've driven turboed cars before, and it is totally
Okay.
different. Then because then you're working as in turbo lag stuff like that. You can get overboost. You can do stuff, especially when it's hot or when it's cold. Like there's a lot more that goes into managing it, but you also get a lot of torque at the bottom of a at the coming out of a corner if you do it properly. Versus the Lambo gets a little sluggish out of corners because the as funny as that sounds, the V10 doesn't make that much torque. It's good top end of the stick or it's good mid range, but out of a corner, it struggles really bad. Where the turbo cars kind of beat us up out of corners, we can kind of go deeper on the brakes, and we have a little bit of an advantage towards the end of a straight.
Good grief. I mean, all this stuff, man, it's just stuff that I know exists, but like I'm just amazed at how technical it truly is and your knowledge about it. Like clearly you absolutely know what you're talking about, which is just like which is crazy. I mean, I've never like had a full-on conversation with a race car driver, so all
Yeah,
of this is just like mind-blowing to me and I'm like you're saying things and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then I'm like, wait, I've never ever thought about that.
yeah, it's
Um,
it's a lot goes into it. A lot more than most people imagine goes into the racing. It's like fully it's evolving. I feel like year after year it becomes more and more like a data driven sport. Like I remember when I started like in go-karts, like we had nothing. We had GoPros we'd like tape to the freaking top of the radiator, and then after we'd watch the video and be like, "Oh, okay, this line looks a little strange." Like we didn't have data. I feel like now it's like I feel like I'm looking at data more than I'm like driving the actual car. It's crazy.
good grief. What's your favorite track to drive on?
Oof, favorite track. It's probably Watkins Glen up in New York. That place is unbelievable. Road Atlanta is pretty great too here in the States. I do love that track a lot. It's just very I love high speed tracks. I always have loved high speed tracks, and those two, especially in my mind, flow like perfectly. Like the lap just feels really good, especially when you get one right. It just like clicks in your mind. Like it's like it scratches that like mental itch. You like, and you get something perfect and you're like, man, that felt so good. Like
Yep.
Watkins is like that, and so is Road Atlanta. Those two are probably my favorite. VIR is a really great one. You said that was your favorite track. VIR is super cool. It's just unfortunately I kind of take everything into account here. Every time I race at VIR, it's like August, so it's like 110 degrees, and like you feel
Oh,
like you're gonna
dude.
die the entire time. So that part's not that cool. The track itself is awesome, but yeah, like if I had to pick, probably Watkins Glen. I love that place.
Do you have like air pumping through in the cars? I mean, because you're fully kitted out. You're wearing a suit, you're wearing a helmet. Do they
Yep.
have like not I mean not full on, well maybe they have full on air conditioning. I don't know. Like how do you keep cool?
So the newer GT3s do have AC.
Okay.
Um, some do. The new Lambo doesn't, which I'm honestly I don't really know why they didn't do that, but
Uh-oh.
whatever. Strange. Ours does not. Neither does the Trofeo. They do have some, like a little bit of ventilation, like air from the outside is getting into the cockpit, which is nice because then you're not just circulating the same air over and over again. We
Yeah.
run helmet blowers, so like I have a blower connected to my helmet that's pulling outside air into my helmet, which is cooling me down. And then we have water, but that's really it for driver cooling on our side. Then you look at like the new BMW, like the M4 that they run, or like the Corvette. Those things are like 70 degrees inside. They have like an actual AC unit, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of torn on it. Like I like the side of racing where it's raw and it's hot, and it's a true endurance sport. Like at the end of the race, like everybody's exhausted because they're all dying. Like it's so hot in the car. But then again, it also makes sense because where's a guy in a car that's 120 degrees like mine, or a guy in a car that's 70 degrees, like who's going to be sharper after an hour and a half in the car? The guy at 70
Yeah.
degrees, of course, like he's going to be 10 times sharper than us. So it does make sense that everybody's going in that direction. But then again, I go into the NASCAR, the truck, and that thing has zero ventilation, zero from the outside. You have a helmet blower, and it's like when we were testing in Sebring, the inside of the cockpit was like 165, 170 degrees.
Do you wait, hold on. 170 degrees? So you're sitting in a sauna.
Yeah, you're sitting in a sauna with a full like thick race suit, kitted out, helmet on, gloves, everything. Yeah, it's pretty warm. You definitely lose quite a few pounds of just water weight doing that. Just
Oh
cool.
my gosh.
It's like
Dude,
the
I
diet. It's
hope
like a diet that everybody would love to get on, right? Like you just drive a race car
right.
around, and you lose a bunch of weight.
Dude, I hope you got a good washing machine, man.
Yeah, I know. When I'm home, my mom definitely gets pissed off at me when I fill up the washing machine with my thigh stuff. She's like, "You're dealing with that. I want nothing to do with it."
That's that's so funny. Um, hydration. Um, so do you have like I don't know, a fancy like Camelback or something that's in your helmet? Like how do you stay hydrated?
Yeah, so we have a system in the car. Magnetically connects to the side of your helmet, and then it's got a whatever, like a tube that runs into my helmet with a little like thing I can bite onto, and then there's a button
Yeah.
on the steering wheel. So I just when I get in the car and do a driver change or whatever, click the topper on magnet that magnet's on. This magnet's onto the side of my helmet, and then as I'm driving, I can just click this button on my steering wheel and it pumps water into my mouth that I'm drinking.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
you do have hydration, and it's simple. Like that's the best thing. Like I don't even have to take my hands off the steering wheel. I just click a button and it's immediately there, which is cool. And then also if you really need to for like the hot races, when we do driver changes and with the cars in the pits getting tires, one of our guys can put a new bottle into the car. So like I can put a hydration mix. Like I have one that I've had like custom made for me because I've gotten tested for like salt loss and everything. They can mix that into my bottle and pop it into the car. So then I'm drinking what I'm losing. So I'm not going to be like extremely fatigued afterward. I mean, you're going to be tired, sure, but you're not going to be like dying or like cramping up or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, it's like you've got your own little special blend of like element, the element like
Yeah,
saltwater drinks or
exactly.
whatever. Yeah. Have you ever had to like hold a pee break in because your shift isn't over yet or shift whatever however you want to whatever the
Stint,
technical
yeah.
term is.
So the short answer is yes. Long answer is not really. So when you're racing, like true racing under green flag conditions, you're so focused that you're not even thinking about it, and you're usually sweating so much that like the water loss there kind of subsides. The you have to pee. The
Yeah.
only time I've ever been like, man, like I really got to go to the bathroom was this year at Daytona. There was a super long yellow flag because of fog. It went
Ooh.
yellow at like I want to say like 11:45 or midnight almost, and was yellow until like 6:45 in the morning. It was like a 10 it was like an 8-hour yellow. It was crazy, and it was awful actually. But
I
being in
mean,
the
but
car
that's
for
kind of a special circumstance. That's not like real racing conditions.
no, 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 but that's what I'm saying. Like That's
Right.
why I said short and long answer. That wasn't real racing conditions because it was literally you're just following the pace car at like 60 miles an hour for like hours. So like I did a double under that just to so my teammates could sleep. And it was like the first stint was it was probably the worst time I've ever had in a race car. I was so bored. But my teammates had needed sleep, so it was fine. But yeah, like I did the first stint. They asked me like, "Hey, you feeling good? You think you can do another one?" I'm like, "I'm not even racing. Yeah, I can sit in a car for an hour. No big deal."
Yeah.
And of course, as soon as I pit, and because we were running out of fuel, pit, get fuel, whatever, I go back out. Literally, as soon as my out lap starts, I'm like, "Oh man, I gotta pee." So I get on the radio and I'm like, "Hey, like, how long are these stints like time wise?" And they're like, "Well, because we're behind the safety car, it's about an hour and 10 minutes." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is gonna be such a brutal hour. Like, I'm just gonna be sitting here like in pain, like going 60 miles an hour, just smelling gas fumes for an hour and a half because I gotta pee." But we got through it. I didn't go in my seat, fortunately enough. But
Yeah,
yeah, it
try
was
telling your other teammates that, hey guys, you may smell something a little weird in the seat, but don't worry about it. It's in your head.
yeah. When you get in, your butt's soaking wet. I promise you, I was just sweating that much. It was not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'd believe me.
I didn't realize how much it's a team sport too. That's very considerate of you also to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna let the guys sleep. We're just cruising.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing, and especially with Daytona, like it's really year by year. You don't really know how you're going to go or what's going to happen or who's going to be the quickest. But I've had great teammates for the past 2 years at Daytona, and yeah, it was one of those things where it was like these guys need sleep because I had done. There's minimum drive times like you are required to do. I think 4.5 hours at Daytona, like each driver is. So you don't have somebody just do like an hour and they're like I'm done.
Yeah.
Um, so I had finished my minimum drive time. I drove majority of the first half of the race. So I had finished before the yellow even came out. So I was just gonna actually probably try to sleep and then be there in the morning as like the backup in case somebody had a problem. But as soon as that long yellow came out and we knew it wasn't lifting anytime soon, I was like, I took it upon myself, like, hey guys, you all sleep because you guys are driving, like true racing tomorrow for sure. I'll take this. I don't have to drive tomorrow. If whatever, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I finish this, I can go sleep. I know you guys don't need me in the morning, so it'll be fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a team sport.
What do you think of Spa?
I think that would be one of the coolest tracks to ever race. Everybody I know who's
I
been there,
totally agree.
everybody I know who's been there cannot stop talking about how awesome it is. And every time I hear about it, it makes me more and more jealous and want to get there.
Do you think that's in your future? What do you have to do to eventually find yourself on the track at Spa?
Yeah, I mean, I it's not that I have to do anything to tell you the truth. I just need the opportunity, right? And that's
Of
one of those
course.
ones that everybody wants that opportunity. So it doesn't come down to something as simple as me being like, "Hey, I'll do it for free. You don't even have to pay me. I'll come race in Spa." Because there's a million people like me that are like, "Who cares? Spa's sick. I'll go race there for free." And who doesn't want to drive a race car there? So it really just comes down to finding the right people, getting into the right group, getting in with the right OEM. Lamborghini does race there, but minimally. So that's a tough one. If we did go somewhere else, if we ended up somewhere else and I was fortunate enough to meet up with the right people, maybe even through Toyota, because they're coming out their new GT3 next year, through NASCAR, if I got the opportunity with them to go race over there, I would jump at it. I would absolutely do anything to go race there.
I love that track, especially on the sim. I'm sure you've spent tons of time
Oh,
driving it
yeah.
as well. Just going flat out on I can never
Oh,
pronounce it.
Rouge.
Yeah, Eau Rouge, thank you. Yeah, that it's so much
It's
fun
special.
even on the sim, 100%.
Yeah, that place is,
Um,
that's one of the few that are in my mind. There's like two or three in my mind that I'm like, I have to get to there. I have to do
I
it.
mean, you're going to Monza. I mean, that's the Ferrari track, right?
Yeah, that's one of them for sure. I think the other ones would probably be like Spa, Nürburgring, and maybe Le Mans. I probably Le Mans. That place is special too, just with everything that goes. It's history and everything wise. But I think the coolest one out of those three would be Spa, and then Nürburgring's pretty close behind. That place is so cool.
Have you been out there to the ring and as in just like a regular car and driven it?
No, I haven't. I'm actually trying to plan. Hopefully, I want to see when because they do like the like you just said, like the rental laps or whatever, like the
Yeah.
street course laps. I want to see. I'm trying to figure out now that with either before or after World Finals when I'm over in Europe already in October. I'm gonna see if they are still doing it that time of year, and if they are, I'm for sure gonna make the trip over to Germany and do it.
Do you follow Misha Sharaudin or however you say his name on Instagram? The guy
Yeah, I
that
know who
just
you're talking about.
lives on the ring. His
So
uh
cool.
his his videos popped up for me a little while ago, and now they're all over my feed because he's driving just. I mean, he's probably the most experienced driver on the ring,
Oh yeah,
and
he's
like
there every day.
people. Yeah, and like people are just giving him like their cars and like, hey, I just want to ride in the passenger seat and like
Yeah,
and he'll just rip their car around the track.
it's
And
crazy.
I've done probably around, I mean, in your perspective, it's almost nothing, but I've done probably around 100 laps on Nürburgring, which is a lot for
That's
me,
a
nothing
lot.
for
It's
you.
no, but that's a lot because that place is huge.
And I still don't know the track. I still don't know it.
Isn't that
Like, I
crazy?
mean,
And it's you got to look like these like I always like to say like there's ring specialists, like people who like you're saying like that guy, he knows everything. He knows every corner, he knows every bump there, which is to me it's unbelievable because it's so big, but it's also like I race it on the sim too and it's amazing, but and I feel like I have an idea where everything is, but then I'm like you put in the aspect of passing cars, you're in a GT3, so you're passing all the slower cars and you're also doing it at night. It's like you need to fully be able to race like with braille there. Like you need to know where everything is with not even looking.
and I've only ever done like practice laps on iRacing. Like I haven't even done an AI race on the ring yet because I still just don't know the track. Like I know it's gonna be one turn and then I'm just gonna be in the wall. So I'm just like I'm not even gonna like bother doing like an AI
Yeah,
race or like hopping online on the ring until like I actually know it. Maybe that day will never come, but it's yeah, the ring is sick.
it's
I hope you get
sick.
to go out there. I hope you get to go out there and do the rental car thing, and you know extend your stay a little bit. I'm gonna have to follow up with you and see if you end up doing see how that experience goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it everything I got because that is one of those spots that it's like even if I don't race there ever, which I would kill to race there eventually, I just got to do a lap there. I have to do it. Like even if I do one, I just have to
Oh,
do it just to do it.
I 100% get it. Okay, so career, like where do you like what's your goal? Are you trying to do like 24-hour Le Mans? Are you trying to work your way up into F1 or are you happy at doing IMSA like WeatherTech stuff? Like what where do you see yourself going?
Um, if you would have asked me that question a while about 6 to 8 months ago, I probably would have told you I loved IMSA and I didn't want to leave IMSA. But now, with this opportunity that Toyota's given me and everything, it really has opened the door to NASCAR. Um, I've always loved NASCAR. It's in America, which is nice. And yes, they race a lot, which is amazing, almost every weekend, basically. But it's the opportunities that are available in NASCAR and the amount of support it gets and sponsorship wise and everything, the ability to get sponsors because of the TV viewership level and everything. That's probably where I would like to be in the next 5 to 8 years is my goal is let's see if we can make it in NASCAR. That's why the truck series, that's why I did my start. And that's why I want to do more in that because it's like, hey, like, let's see where we can get in this and see, like, are we competitive in NASCAR? And if so, like, let's do it.
What do you think of Cletus McFarland, the YouTuber? He's now doing oval racing and like it kind of seems to be. Have you like followed this at all? Because it kind of seems like
Yeah, a little bit.
there's this weird. It kind of seems like there's this weird split of like diehard NASCAR enthusiasts that don't like how he's just kind of like found his way in there and now he's competing in this. But it seems like he's actually doing pretty well. And then
Yeah,
Cletus
yeah.
has this, you know, he has this huge own following, and all of his supporters are obviously really excited for him.
I,
What do you think of that?
I think it's great to be completely honest with you. I
I
understand when
agree.
the people don't like it, and I understand this whole like idea of like, oh, it's not fair because what if somebody? So there's so many people out there with more potential that could have been taking that seat or whatever. But it's like the end of the day, like that's not how like as horrible as this is to say, and not great as this is to say, that's not really how it works. Like at the end of the day, if he's in the seat, he deserves the seat. I
Right.
don't it doesn't really matter how he got there. I mean, if he's in there and he's crashing and finishing last every weekend, yeah, I understand why people are gonna start to be like, hey, you shouldn't be there anymore. Or maybe let's give
Sure.
somebody else an opportunity and it's becoming like a detriment to the sport. But he's not. Cletus is competing. I haven't seen anything of him recently, and I've kind of been busy myself, so I haven't had a chance to watch much of him. But
Sure.
looking back, I think it was in Talladega in the ARCA car, he finished second, almost won the
Yeah.
race. Like, I mean, that's not just like a gimme. Like Talladega, I'm almost positive is at Talladega. I know it was a big oval. Regardless of anything, that is a big race. And the fact that he was even at the front of the field and leading laps, and the fact that he almost won is should be telltale signs that this guy is not just as like coming out of nowhere just doing it because he wants to do it. Like Cletus actually cares. He's actually a good driver. And he is going to continue. Like he doesn't have much experience, but the rate he's progressing now, like he's just going to keep getting better and better and better. And regardless of that, he's outstanding for the sport. Like, look at the amount of viewership that he's bringing to NASCAR.
Exactly. Exactly. At the very least, even if he like blew up
Isn't
on the
doing
launch
well.
pad,
Yeah.
it's great for NASCAR.
Yeah, they needed it because I mean, NASCAR, like to be completely honest with you, is having like a little bit of a personality crisis at the moment, in my opinion. Like, I feel like NASCAR went from like you look at early 2000s NASCAR, even late 90s NASCAR, like you had all these drivers that were like these huge, larger than life personalities that everybody was like, you hate Eminem or you loved him, and then it's like the same thing Elvis did. Like you're gonna sell shirts that say I love Elvis and I hate Elvis. Like that's how it was, and that was what was cool, and everybody wanted to tune in every weekend to see like I don't know, Dale Earnhardt go against Jeff Gordon or Dale Jr. when he was starting like taking over like from his dad and everything like that. Like everybody wanted to watch that because it was awesome. And then it
Yeah.
kind of became this thing where it was like these drivers, they changed from like these larger than life personalities into these like extensions of sponsorship, which is like, yeah, you got to do it. But like when somebody's getting out of a car after a race and they're just like monotone, like, oh, I want to thank my blah, blah, blah Chevy for this weekend or my blah, blah, blah Ford. It's like, that's not what we want. We want you to be high energy. We want you to be like saying it how it is. Like, this is NASCAR. This is what we want. And that's how Cletus is. And you see the following he immediately picked up from it. I mean, I see it in Cup now. Like I feel like since Cletus has come in, some of the Cup drivers have even started to change a little bit and become like more character than anything, which is you need it. That is what NASCAR is, and that's why people watch.
Soul and authenticity.
Yeah. Like we don't need to
Yeah.
hide behind these like large conglomerates and everything. And you need to like perfectly like balance yourself on this like tightrope of, oh, I can't say anything because I don't want to piss off anybody. Like at the end of the day, yeah, you can't be like you can't not consider people's feelings. Like you can't be a jackass for the sake of being a jackass. Like
Sure.
I know that. Like I can't just go out there and say whatever I want, regardless
Right.
of as stupid as funny as I think I am. You can't do that. But you need a personality. You need to create these rivalries. You need to create this stuff. I mean, like you look back at any big sport at their like pinnacle people. Like, I mean, something as crazy as saying WWE, like Hulk Hogan and WWE, like he made WWE being him. And he was this
Right.
larger than life character who was screaming and yelling at people and creating this like persona that literally took over the entire planet because everybody was like, this guy is awesome. And that's
Yeah.
what Cletus is. Cletus is awesome. He's hilarious. He's funny. He creates these awesome videos. His YouTube channel is amazing. And he cares and he loves NASCAR. He loves the sport. So I truly think he's great. And I don't really understand when people like love to hate on him, but I do understand there has to be like, I mean, there's a saying like if you don't have haters, you're doing something wrong at the end of the day.
Right. There's always going to be opposition no matter what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Um, so what about Formula Drift? Have you ever thought about maybe, I mean, I know you've got your heart set on plenty of other things right now. Have you ever even entertained the thought of hopping in a drift car and trying that out? I know there's a lot less money in it
Yeah.
and
Is it,
it's not necessarily as popular, but have you ever thought about it?
yeah, but I'll start it just by saying this. The money doesn't matter at the end of the day.
That's true.
To be
I
completely
mean,
honest with
yeah,
you. Like, and I can guarantee you most drivers you'll talk to would say that exact same thing. If the money, like, yeah, you need it, and everybody has a family to take care of and things. But
right.
if you took that aspect out of it, and you said if you took out the aspect of having any like financial, like having like stress on your life with financial wise, if you said to somebody, "I'm not going to pay you, but you're good to drive race cars," every driver I know is going to say yes. Like if the money dried up, I would still be doing this because I love it. Like this is what
Yeah.
I want to do. This is what I wanted to do since I was 5 years old, and I'm living my dreams right now. Like I think back and I'm like, man, if I could talk to my like 6 or 7 or 8 year old self and tell them what I've accomplished today, they wouldn't believe it. They'd tell me I was lying because it's like that was back then in my mind. I was like, I'll never make it there, but wouldn't that be cool?
Right.
So it's one of those things where it's like Formula Drift, yeah, I would love to do it. I would love to do everything. If you told me today, like, hey, let's go put you in a rally car, or let's go put you in a Formula Drift car, or let's go put you in an F1 car. I mean, F1's pretty. That'd be hard to turn down, regardless of anything.
Yeah.
Anything, I would go do it because it's like I just want to race, and I just love the feeling of like pushing yourself to the absolute limits of what you know, and then going a step further.
I really, really like drifting. I love it actually. And that's probably what I spend the majority of my sim time doing right now, because eventually I would like to get a drift car, and thankfully they're
Cool.
pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You can get a 350Z or whatever, put an angle kit on it, a handbrake, and then go
Yeah, and just
rip it
rip.
around. Yeah, exactly. And that's something I'm slowly trying to work toward. I actually ended up buying. I could drift it. I'm not going to, but I just recently bought a 1999 Nissan Silvia
Oh,
S15,
yeah, nice.
the Spec R. So breaking news for the podcast. I bought it working with an importer at auction in Japan, and I'm having a little bit of work done on it now
Cool.
before it gets shipped here. So I ended up taking that route instead of a drift car because I was like, I'd only get to use the drift car, a couple times out of the year, and
That's
tires are
killer, though.
expensive
That
and
thing is
everything.
going to be sick.
I'll send you a photo once it gets
Yeah,
here. I'm really excited
absolutely.
about it. But that's not like so my really good friend of mine, he was in Formula Drift kind of in the earlier days, and so now he just kind of drives for fun. But he's got a C6 Corvette that he's fully kitted out into a drift car, and so I was at this event with him last year and rode around the track with him. It's this private racetrack called PTC Polecat Training Center,
Okay.
like an hour and a half away from Nashville. It's a really nice track just in the middle of nowhere. It's like 2.2 miles long, so it's not that long, but
Yeah,
it's got a lot of technical
that's
turns in it.
perfect, though, for, like, a
But
test
I
track.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I rode with him shotgun, and he was sideways the entire 2 miles. And like he was
That's
the best
so
driver
cool.
out there by far. And it was just like I was just like, I have to get to this.
Yeah.
How do I get to this? And I'm sure you've had like the same thought when you're pursuing racing and stuff like that. It's like you
Yeah,
have
no,
something in mind, and how do I
you'll
get
do
there?
yeah, you'll do anything to achieve it, and it's also such a blast, like, or such a treat, honestly, when you get into a scenario like that where you rode around with him and he was the best one out there. I've had that my whole life where it's like, yeah, you get to a level, sure, and then you get into something else and you see the person who's the pinnacle of that, and you're just like, "How can I get to your level?" Like,
Right.
cause I want to be you. Like, I wanna be able to make it to that level now, and it's like you continuously, like, that's the coolest thing about racing and about anything in life, like, just keep setting your standards higher and higher, like, okay, yeah, you reached your goal, now what's the next goal? Who's the next person you wanna be? Who's the next person you wanna get to their level? Like, and that's the coolest part, and yeah, drift is really cool. And when I've seen those guys, like when we're out at Long Beach racing in IMSA, they have like drift is out there drifting on the same track. It is so cool to watch them. I'll stay out there all day and just sit there and watch those guys go. It's so fun.
Dude, it's literally just like aura farming. Like I know that they've made it
Totally.
like competitive. I know they've made it like competitive and you can score it and all that stuff. And it's like I mean, don't get me wrong, like the one time I was sitting in a race car, the Skip Barber car, I had so much fun doing that too, and I also want to find a way to get back into the seat of one of those. But even like drifting, it's like I don't need to be doing this trying to compete against other people. I mean, I'm sure I'm naturally competitive, so I'm sure if somebody's out there holding a better drift than me, I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna do what that guy's doing on the next lap. But like it's literally just like drifting is pretty much just vibes, and I'm just like I just want to be out there like having a great time, like just aura farming, just like doing sick stuff like sideways in a Corvette or whatever is like that. Yeah.
totally.
Um,
Yeah,
and I'd love to do like racing stuff at some point just casually just because it's like you said it's amazing, it's a fun time.
it's the
um uh,
best.
yeah. All right, I'll go through a few more questions. This is kind of more like enthusiast kind of based stuff. What is your favorite manual transmission car?
Favorite manual transmission car. To be completely honest with you, in my opinion, nothing can beat like an old Porsche, like a flat six
Yeah,
Porsche, or like an old Porsche with a turbo in it, because it's just so raw and so cool. And I mean, also so well built. Porsches today and 100 years ago versus today, those things are like built like tanks. So I would probably say one of those things, just because it's like so you're so connected to the car when you're driving a manual. I love manual cars because you just feel like it's that extra attachment. You don't feel detached, like it's just doing everything for yourself, like you're actually working for it.
I totally agree. Before I bought this Nissan, I owned a E92 BMW M3,
Yep.
and that was a 6 speed, And I drove that every day for almost 3 years, and even still sitting in traffic, I still was just like, I don't care. This is so much fun. And
Yeah,
even though they had the
it's awesome.
DCT, the first dual clutch or whatever, it's like, well, if I was tracking this car, maybe I'd want a DCT just so I'd know I could be faster and have better gear changes and all that. But like just for like a mountain like weekend car or whatever stuff like that, like I'm gonna pick a manual 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely, it's so fun.
What would you say is like an overrated enthusiast car?
Ooh, overrated enthusiast car. You know, I might honestly, as bad as this is to say, I might have to stick on my same trend here with saying Porsche. I love Porsche. It's probably like one of my favorite brands of all time. But nothing really upsets me more than like when you're on Instagram, which most people like, don't get me wrong, the car is sweet. I've driven them and they're awesome. But people will literally act like the GT3 RS is like this holy thing. Like it's the best car of all time, which I get it. The car is great. I've driven them. It's an unbelievable piece of machinery. But at the end of the day, it's not like there's things that are better in different aspects of stuff. Like if you're an unlimited budget and that's what you're gonna pick, like that's what I always see is when people are like, "Oh, would you rather have like whatever X hypercar, or would you rather have a GT3 RS?" And these like young people are like, "Oh, the GT3 RS for sure, it's the best car out there." And it's like, yeah, it's cool, but it's also like, come on now, like.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to overhype this thing to be more than it is because we already know how awesome it is. Like it's not.
Porsches are weird, man, because I mean, even the Porsche market is weird. You have this like cult following. I mean, which makes sense. The car has been around for forever. And
Ever.
like it's simultaneously overhyped, but also not overhyped at the same time.
Yeah.
And you can tell which, influencers are like, oh, GT3 RS. Like it's better than I don't know. Uh,
Anything. It's like, come
yeah.
on.
And it's like, okay, well, I mean, either you haven't driven a lot of stuff or you're saying this just for clout or something like that.
Yeah,
Which
it's
I
like
mean,
it's become like this clout car. I'm like, come
yeah,
on. Or it's like you just know nothing, and that's like you know Porsche because every single human on earth knows Porsche, and then that's the one you
right,
see, and you're like, it's just like you're grasping at straws because you're like, yeah, like I personally have driven them, and I know the car is awesome, and I do love that car, and I hold it in a super
totally.
high standard. But I'm like, it's just that thing. It always makes me laugh because I see it all the time when people are like, it's
Yep.
the greatest car of all time, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's not, but that's fine.
I was listening to Joe Rogan a few months ago, and I think it was Elon they were talking about the 911, and Joe was saying like the Porsche 911 is an engineering like marvel because
Oh yeah,
it doesn't make sense like when you think about it, it doesn't really make sense that car shouldn't handle as well as it actually does because you've got the engine in the back. I mean, and I know it's a lighter engine because it's the flat six, the boxer, whatever you want to call it. Um, but you still have all that weight over the rear axle, and then they're prone to is it snap oversteer? I
yeah,
think
snap
because
oversteer.
because you have that engine in the back, but they've just continuously made it and engineered it for so long that they have just like defined that car and engineered it so well to the point that it really, really handles in a way that it theoretically shouldn't.
Oh yeah, that's those things are
And so
tanks.
like the hype is real. Like I understand it, but it's still overhyped at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. Like I keep saying, the car is awesome. But that's the one that came to my mind first because it's the one I always see people on Instagram arguing about. Like, oh, it's the best car of all time, and then you have people who are like, no, it's terrible, and then it's like, nah, it's neither. It's an awesome car, but I can promise you, there's stuff out there that's cooler.
What about an underrated car?
Ah, underrated. Man, that's so tough. I'm trying to think of like stuff that I love, but I feel like doesn't get much attention. Which I feel like now is like anything modern. I feel like there's so many people in the car community now where like everything gets attention.
Yeah.
That it's difficult to even find something that's like a hidden treasure or something. Like honestly, underrated cars to me are stuff that's like built cars, which is weird as that sounds. Like people who actually like anything that somebody spent time, effort, everything on to me is underrated because
Yeah.
I see it on the street and whatever, and I don't know what's gone into it. And then when you get to talk to the person, or if you go to a car show and there's like something cool that somebody spent so much time on, you talk to them, then you're like, oh my God, that thing is so cool because this guy spent a year and a half tweaking every single little thing on this car to make it exactly what he wanted, which you or I might hate the car, but at the end of the day, this guy is like, it's his baby. He spent everything on it. He's done everything to it. And I think it's underrated at that point because it's like everybody in common traffic doesn't know what's gone into it.
And yeah, it's one of those things where you may not like the car, just like, but you respect the build. Like you respect the
Yeah,
effort, the heart, the soul, the blood, the sweat, the tears that went into like making it
absolutely.
exactly how I wanted it. Yeah, I like that mindset. I'm kind of a big fan of like slow car fast,
Yeah.
like an E36 M3 or even the Nissan that I bought. Like it weighs 2,800 pounds. It's probably the same curb weight as the Super Trofeo that you race, and it's got a third of the power. It's
Yeah.
like I think it's like 250 or something at the crank, so like maybe I don't know 200 220 at the wheels or whatever. But
Probably. Yeah,
like
that sounds right.
because it's light, because it's light, and I mean it's got turbo on it, like little things like that, like it's the perfect like kind of mountain back road car because you don't have to worry about like driving beyond your skill level.
Yeah,
You
and
know
it's
what I'm
also going to
saying?
be an absolute blast to drive.
Right,
Like
exactly.
this
It's
whole,
like the Miatas.
yeah, dude, this whole fad of like people are, I feel like it's come about in the last like 5 years where people are like, oh, if you don't have 1,000 horsepower, you don't have anything. And it's like, at the end of the day, like 1,000 horsepower is cool. Like the numbers side of it's cool. And this whole like huge horsepower number thing is cool. But it's like, that car is not fun to drive. I know that car's not fun to drive. Like there's
Right.
very few cars out there. Like there are some, but there's very few cars out there that have that much power that are actually cool to drive. Like they're just going to be a pain. And it's like, you're just going to hear like diff noise and transmission like cracking and popping and all this stuff going on because it all has to be built at that point. Like unless you're buying like a $1 million plus car that comes stock with 1,000 horsepower,
That
everything's
can
built at
actually
that point.
handle it. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not like when you're out there freaking buying whatever, like I work for them. So like a Revuelto, like from Lamborghini, and it comes with 1,000 horsepower. Like that thing comes with it, and it doesn't feel like it has it really. I mean,
Right.
it's fast, but like it's a lot different than like a GTR with 1,000 or 1,500 horsepower. It's like that car was
Yeah.
not ever made to have that much power, and it's really cool that it does. But it's also like, come on now, like that thing is like it's literally a race car on the street, and I get to drive. I'm fortunate. I get to drive race cars all the time. I don't want to drive those things on the street. Are you kidding me? My
Oh,
back
yeah.
would be like my back, I think, would just quit.
I I've seen somebody took a Super Trofeo car and made it street legal, and then he was saying like, I hate driving this thing on the street because it's not made for
Oh,
it.
dude, no way. I've thought about that, like, because I've seen it, and there's a bunch of them all over the place now, and I've been like, "Man, that would be cool," especially now they're getting retired. But every time I drive that track, like, that's my favorite track car ever, but I drive it on the track, and I get out, and I'm like, "If I ever had to drive this thing on the street, I think I would, like, rather walk."
Yeah.
Like, like,
I
the
don't
thing is
blame you.
awesome, but it is so rough and just, like, so raw that you would drive it for, like, 5 minutes, and you'd get somewhere, and you'd be like, "I'd never wanna get in that car again."
Can you imagine trying to take it through a drive-through?
No. That would be terrible. You'd also
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
if you hadn't upgraded the clutch, your clutch would explode immediately because the clutches on those things are so bad. It's a foot clutch. It's like literally, I swear to God, every race weekend where we have to replace the clutch in that thing because like the moment you slip the clutch, like going from like the garage to like the grid, it literally just cooks the clutch. Like, you immediately like you pushed in like 3 times, you already are smelling like the clutch burning, and you're like, all
Ugh.
right, there's another one.
What's your daily driver?
I drive a F-250 pickup truck.
Oh, let's go. All right.
Yeah, I've had a pickup truck since I turned 16. I've always had pickup trucks. I love them. I like just I get my energy out on the racetrack. I like to have something here so I can go out on the boat or go fishing or whatever and tow everything and have a good time.
Do you have a weekender car?
Not at the moment. I've had project cars. Like I go back. I get stuff and I have them for a while and then I trade them or sell them or whatever it may be. I'm in the middle of. I just got rid of one 3 months ago. So I'm in that little state right now. But I'm taking my time because I've been traveling so much that it's kind of nice. I have a lot of time to spend on like Auto Trader. So I'm having fun doing that. Just looking at what's out there.
Oh, dude, I spend so much time on Facebook Marketplace or like Cars and Bids or Bring a
It's
Trailer
so
and all
fun.
that. It's addicting. If I ever have like a 10-minute lull at work or whatever, or I just need
Yeah,
like a
for
mental
sure. Just hop
reset,
on that
I'm
thing.
just like, yeah, exactly. I'm really what I really like about this Nissan that I bought is that I'm gonna be able to work on it really easily. So like the BMW, part of the reason why I sold it is kind of because of the German tax. I feel like every single time something was wrong and I took it into the shop, I got hit with a $5,000 repair bill.
Oh yeah.
Um, And like I owned it for 3 years. I spent probably $15,000 just in maintenance. I mean, given it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's
2008, a lot of stuff is wear
still
items.
though.
And so I mean,
BMWs do have a lot of my last project car or my last fun car was a BMW, and that thing had so many problems. I was always like, I mean, I probably caused most of them because I built it, but I was like, it was like stupid stuff at the end of the day. Like the AC stopped working, and then I took it in and it sat at the BMW service center for a month. And then at the end of it, they were like, "Oh, we can't find a problem. It works sometimes." And I'm like, "You built the car. Like, how can you not fix it?" And they're like, "Well, we didn't build it like this, and this. We didn't put a big single turbo on it." And I'm like, "Yeah, but
yeah.
that's not gonna affect the AC, dude. That's part of like the engine components. That's not gonna like make the AC work sometimes and other times not."
Right, it's like I'm paying you to diagnose this. Like I'm hoping
Yeah,
that you
just
can diagnose it.
yeah, like, I'm paying you at this point, like, there's no warranty left on this thing, just tell me what's broken and I'll pay to fix it.
Yeah. Okay, a couple more. I know I said probably around an hour. I hope I'm not like taking too much of your
No, you're
time.
good.
But what's your favorite racing movie?
Favorite racing movie? Probably, Ford vs. Ferrari was really good. That was a
That was a
really well-made
great
movie.
movie.
Um, from a point of it being, like, very authentic racing-wise, like, the racing side of it was not too, like, far-fetched, and the acting side was great. I like that movie a lot. I like Rush a lot, which was also really
Rush is
good.
a sick movie.
Very good. So those 2 would probably be my favorite racing movies. A lot of them, I just kinda get under my skin because they make them so, like, illogical for a real driver, like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, "That just would never happen." So then it kinda ruins the movie for me a little bit.
Yeah. What was the I know I'm blanking on. I'm going to sound like an idiot. What was the movie? Not F1, but it was about where the kid starts off sim racing and then gets
Gran
to and
Turismo?
then yeah, Gran Turismo. Like you can tell they kind of they Hollywood make everything kind of Hollywoodized or whatever, but like when he's like, "Oh, like the brakes are glazed or
Yeah,
whatever."
it's
And
like
it's like I mean, I'm sure that's a real thing, but the way they're throwing it in there does
no, it
not feel
is,
very
but
authentic.
no, that is a real thing, but it's not like that. And also, like, that's a really cool story because it's true, which
Yeah.
is like it's unbelievable. And I feel like they could have done it better, but like you said, they have to Hollywoodize everything, and it's like they told the story wrong. And from a driver, I know what happened there, like where they have like the sequence where he crashes the GTR at Nurburgring, and then it's like he comes back and whatever gets on the podium at Le Mans. Like in reality, he got on the podium at Le Mans, and then that crash happened 4 years after that. And then he was done racing. He stopped racing actually and didn't race again for like 5 years. So,
Yeah.
like, they had to make it like, oh, the redemption arc for the movie,
R-
I guess. But I'm like,
Right.
that's not reality. Like, just don't show that part then. Like, I understand you guys want like a crazy thing that happened to him, but like, you don't have to like bullshit this stuff and make it wrong. And then also, it gets under my skin when tracks are like completely wrong. Like Le Mans in that movie was like so far wrong that I was like the last corner at the end of the movie when they show Le Mans, and it's like a long like sweeping right hander, like a bowl almost like a double apex corner. I'm like, that's not how Le Mans is. Le Mans is a chicane into the front straight. Like it's not. That's not right. Like come on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like if I just kind of shut my brain off a little bit, I was
Then it's
able to
cooler.
enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. And even I have very little experience in this world, and even the subtle things that I was picking up on where I was like, "Oh, this is clearly BS that they threw in there just for the movie." Like I'm sure like I mean you've already kind of mentioned it, like the track isn't right. Things he says he's feeling in the car isn't right in reality. Like I'm sure that's a little bit more frustrating to watch as like an actual driver.
Yeah, it just makes it difficult because I'm like, you guys could have done this properly. But then
Yeah.
again, I say that as a driver, but it's also like I'm sure if I produced a racing movie and made it authentic, people would watch it and be like, this sucks, this is boring, I don't want to see this. Because they want action, which makes sense. Like and it's
Yeah.
that's cool. Like, hey, different feels like people like different things. But it was just like as a driver, it was hard to see stuff that was like so blatantly wrong. That's why I really like I said I like Rush and I like Ford versus Ferrari because I really think they told the stories well and it was like authentic. It was very authentic. Like it really was. It felt real. And they add the Hollywood side to it, sure, but they
Yeah.
kept the realism there as well. So it was a good balance that made these movies enjoyable for me.
Yeah, Ford versus Ferrari hits on so many different levels because you
So
also
good.
have that like triumph of American greatness,
So cool.
Ford versus Ferrari, and Ferrari was dominating the racing scene, and then Ford's like, I'm gonna spend as much money as it takes to go out there and beat them.
Beat them.
Um, and that was really cool. And I mean,
Really
plus, I mean,
cool.
the acting, and I love the way that they portray Ken Miles as a driver too.
Yeah,
Um,
and they did it perfectly because they did it like as real as they could. Like Rush, like I mean, those two, like Nicky Lauda and James Hunt, like were like enemies on track, but then it shows like, and that's as true as it gets. Like I have people on track that like when we put our helmets on, like we hate each other, but then it's like you take your helmets off, and it's like after the race is over, we both have our helmets off, we're out of our race suits. Like I'm like, hey man, let's go grab dinner. Like let's hang out. Like we're buddies because we're both living the same life at the end of the day. Like as crazy as it is on track and as like hot headed as we may be, like at the end of the day, like we both just lived through it. Let's go enjoy each other's company because we both can talk about the same shit and enjoy it. Like we love it.
yeah. Who are your racing role models?
Role models. I mean, let's think here. Like role models would probably be like looking back, like honestly, one of them has to be my manager. His name's Jeff Burton. He was an unbelievable NASCAR driver. So I would say him probably just from an aspect of his work ethic is so strong and how he goes about like his determination and everything. That's probably one of them. Growing up watching Formula One, I remember watching like Lewis Hamilton come up. Just unbelievable. Like watching him. He's definitely like a role model, like just to see how he's like through his career and even now, like still winning at this time, like point in his life.
Dude, yeah,
And then,
he's getting up there for an F1 driver. He's like
yo,
what,
yeah,
40?
he's getting close to 40. He's like an Alonso, but like Alonso, yeah, he's good. He was unbelievable, but he's not winning anymore. Like Lewis won a race, whatever, a couple weeks ago. Like he is so
It's
good
insane.
still. It's
And
unbelievable.
like that's my kind of beef with the F1 movie is like you can't take a 60-year-old Brad Pitt and put him in an
No,
F1 car and
it's
expect him to win. Like it's
that
just
movie was so far fetched. That movie really got under my skin, to be honest with you. Like
I
all
dude,
the sequences and how he's like on the radio calling that he's going to crash into people and all this stuff. Like if you did that in Formula One, I can promise you in any racing, honestly, if I called on the radio in IMSA and said like, oh, I'm going to cause chaos and I'm going to crash my car and I did it, they would black flag me and park me and probably take my racing license away. Like you
yeah.
cannot do that.
That was another kind of shut your brain off movie because some of the cinematography
Yeah, it was great.
it
That
was really
was
good.
cool. It was like
When
Top
you
Gun,
have the yeah, when you have
like
like the
cinematography wise, like so cool.
yeah. And when you have like the opening sequence at was it Daytona?
Silverstone. Oh,
Silver
Daytona. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The 24 hour.
when
Yeah,
they have
they did.
when they have the fireworks and then the
So
Porsches
cool.
are coming through, I was like, "Oh, that's so sick."
Yeah, that's
And
sick.
then yeah, little things like that where he's kind of being a slime bag, like causing all these like technical like flags or whatever to like
You couldn't
secretly
do
get
that.
lap time, and
Like
no,
that would
you
never
can't do that.
work.
No. Yeah, that was a nice like kind of shut your brain off
Yeah.
movie.
Also, like you said, 60-year-old Brad Pitt beating like Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton is like the most
Would never
outrageous thing
happen.
I've ever heard in my entire life.
No, I mean it's just when you get older you slow down and like F1 is literally like you have to have the best reflexes, the best reaction time. You have to be that
Everything.
1% in order
You
to
have to be
stay
wired.
competitive. Yeah. And like have you seen the video where I think maybe it was Max Verstappen, it was like of an F1 driver and somebody's holding the tennis balls and then they drop them and he like catches them like
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
immediately and then they take Tyreek Hill um wide receiver, I think for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
And so he's doing the same thing and he's like getting him, but he almost drops one and then they have the F1 guy and he's just every single time just like
Every single time. Yeah.
this is
Their
I mean,
reflexes
yeah,
are down to like nanoseconds because I mean like
it's a
it's like
different level of
hundredth of it. It's
athlete.
like a hundredth of a second on starts because they're stationary starts. It is so those guys are so finely tuned machines that it's just like unbelievable.
Yeah, 100%. All right, last question. What's your next race and how can we support you?
Yeah, my next race is in 2 weeks in Road America, which is in Wisconsin, which will be great. It's in the Super Trofeo and the GTD car, so I have 3 races that weekend, which is awesome. The
Nice.
GTD race is a 6 hour event on Sunday. The Super Trofeo races are single hour races Friday, Saturday. Yeah, and support wise, I mean, anything helps. I'm on Instagram, Graham Doyle 14. So anything there is always appreciated. I love when people like and follow and reach out to me and shoot me messages, and I try to get back to as many of them as possible. But yeah, stuff like that is always helpful, especially in a sport like IMSA, where we're not the biggest motorsport, so we're always trying to find new fans. So anybody watching, it really makes the difference.
Dude, IMSA is the most fun to me to watch.
Oh yeah,
I like it more than F1
me
because
too.
there's so much more passing and
It's the most
um
underrated. It's the most underrated racing series in the world, in my opinion. For the
I totally
level,
agree.
the talent level, the everything, like everything that goes into IMSA is so cool. Like it is undefeated with everything. I mean, like you're saying, the passing, the racing, everything is so good, and it's like nobody knows it, which is crazy. And
Yeah.
it's gotten so much bigger. I mean, I've been in it now for 5 years, and I've watched it grow, but it's like it deserves so much more credit for what it is.
And it baffles me that people will like get up and watch an F1 race at, 4 a.m. or whatever. But
Yeah,
like a lot of these races, I mean, I know they race abroad, but a lot of them here are here stateside at like
yeah.
normal times and just not as, it's like you
Nobody watches
said,
it.
it's nobody watches it.
Yeah, which is
Um,
crazy because it's like if you're like I love Formula One. I always have loved Formula One, but sometimes even Formula One gets difficult to watch. Like I Max Verstappen's probably my favorite driver, but like even when he was like dominating, like 2023 or four, when he was just winning everything, I was like, I wouldn't even tune into some races because I was like, it's not even fun to watch. There's no passing. They just follow Max. He's got a 20-second lead. Like whatever. IMSA, I don't think I've seen anybody win by more than like 5 seconds in years. Like it is always like down to the wire with these guys.
it's so competitive
It's so
and I love
cool.
watching it. So your races, when if we want to watch them, what are they available on YouTube streaming? Like how do we actually like tune in?
Yeah, so the Super Trofeo races are streamed always on YouTube. They're also on
Okay.
Peacock, and then the
Okay.
6 hour, the Road America 6 hour is on Peacock, and then it also should be on NBC.
Awesome. Dude, I'm really looking forward to tuning in. I will do my I don't think I can watch the full 6 hours.
Yeah, no,
I'll
I wouldn't
definitely
ask you to do that. I don't even know if I can do a full 6 hours if I wasn't driving. That's a bit much.
dude, I'll shoot you a text and try to figure out when you're going to be actually on the track so I can watch. And then obviously you
Absolutely.
said you'll be on there for the whole Super Trofeo thing, right? And you said that's
Yep.
about an hour. Okay.
Yeah,
Dude,
those are
yeah.
50-minute races, Friday and Saturday. Those are simple. It's that's easy. Those races are nice
Yeah.
and short.
Well, I really appreciate you hopping on. I honestly, this was a lot of fun. I learned so
Yeah, it was
much.
great.
And I had a really good time. Uh, really wish you well in your career and in your next series of races. Really looking forward to following along and just seeing you grow as a driver and just waiting to see what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here. I appreciate talking to you. I had a great time. And yeah, I look forward to talking again hopefully soon.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks for
Thanks.
watching, guys.
See ya.